It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the 5th day of December 2022 and broadcasting live from Site B. It is I, the DJ OGGM, Pirate Radio live and well on a 62-degree cloudy afternoon. And let's talk more about the number one story affecting the industry, and that is the OGL 1.1, the leaked images and what it appears Wizards of the Coast is trying to do with it and what they could have done better. So we've gone over the OGL 1.1. We see exactly the steps Wizards of the Coast are taking to tighten their hold over the D&D license past, present, and future, which is good business, okay? All anger and nonsense aside, on some very basic level, it is good. Wizards of the Coast wants to have complete control over Dungeons and Dragons and wants to make the most money that they can over Dungeons and Dragons. Makes sense. Can't fault them that. Unfortunately, the way they have presented the information is extremely problematic, extremely heartbreaking, and extremely opening them to just a series of disastrous responses, and could be the equivalent of 4th edition and just literally kick them to the curb. This could be the final straw where Hasbro goes, yeah, no. So we know what they are planning on doing. We are basing this upon this leaked OGL 1.1 and the information they posted on D&D Beyond now in regards to this. Is this true? Well, we won't know for sure till the 13th. That seems to be the date. Now we're going to see the new official one. But most of us are guessing, yeah, what we've heard, what we read is 100% true. So let us turn our attention to another company that owns a extremely recognizable intellectual property and how they handle the copyright and production of the imagery associated with their brand. This is Mickey Mouse. I don't know if you know Mickey Mouse, but Mickey Mouse is the single most recognized mascot on the planet. You cannot go anywhere without seeing the influence of the House of Mouse. You can walk into, well, here we are on Etsy. I'm seeing tons of Disneyland Mickey Mouse merchandise. Do you think any of these people approached Walt Disney to get permission to use the House of Mouse imagery? No, they did not. None of this is official Disney merchandise. Disney could, until 2024, when they lose the copyright to Mickey Mouse, but they really don't have a copyright to Mickey Mouse anyways. They only have a copyright trademark to a certain projection of Mickey Mouse. Disney could go after every one of these Etsy stores. Disney could go after every gift shop, and there are tons around Disney World, Disneyland, Euro Disney, Japan Disney. You can walk into any thrift store, gift shop, wherever, around those areas, tourist traps, and you will see unofficial, unlicensed Mickey Mouse Disney paraphernalia. Disney could go after every one of these guys. I mean, following the logic of the OGL and how, you know, the open license of Mickey Mouse applies to third-party contractors. Yeah, Disney could go after every one of these guys. Same with another character you may have heard of. This guy. Do you think DC Comics goes after any of these people making unlicensed fan art and charging money for it off of Superman, Batman? There's no place you can go in the world where people don't know who Batman is. People don't know who Superman is. You can go tons of gift stores, tons of websites where you can see stuff like this. Do you think this is official licensed DC Batman product? Do you think this is? Do you think this is? Do you think this is? Do you think any of these are officially licensed products from DC? They're not. They're all third party. Technically, DC could go after every one of these guys let's go back to Mickey, and say, hey, money, OGL, 25% of your money. Same with Disney, same with DC, same with Marvel, same with any other company that has a recognizable, licensable IP that is marketed by hundreds of different third-party contractors. They could, just like Wizards of the Coast could and claims is, go after these guys. But they don't. Why doesn't Disney go after all these people? Why doesn't DC go after all the people who are making unofficial Superman, Batman stuff on Etsy all over the world? Why didn't Disney go after the knockoff Disneyland or anything that uses anything semi resembling the House of Mouse? They could. Wizards of the Coast could go after any one of us who's going to be making third-party content for D&D, but they don't. Why doesn't DC go after all these little, contractors who are making Superman iconography? Why doesn't Disneyland go after these people? Because they don't have to, and for multiple reasons. And this, I'm using this as an example for the philosophy Wizards of the Coast should have adopted with the new OGL. Disney doesn't go after these Etsy guys. Disney doesn't go after the gift shops. Disney doesn't go after the third-party people who use Mickey Mouse or any of the other Disney licenses because it's just not financially worth the amount of time and effort it would take them to sue them and to go after them and the cease and desist for the measly pennies on a dollar Disney would make. No, Disney encourages these gift stores, these third-party, to make stuff. Why? Because Disney knows how to play the long game. Disney knows that every one of these dimes that are being taken out of their pocket so a third-party person can sell this Epcot shirt is $1 they will get tomorrow when these people go to the park. For every dime they lose off of this shirt, that's $9.99 they will get for the next subscription to Disney Plus. For every $1 they lose from the gift shop selling this, that's $200, $300, $400 they'll make the next time people come to the park. This is all free advertising for Disneyland. Every piece of this unofficial merch is free advertising for the official stuff. And Disney knows that this is an earworm, that by letting somebody charge $13 for this, that gets that in somebody's brain, go to Disneyland, go to Disneyland. And if a person spent $13 for this, it increases the chances that that same person is going to spend $10 to get the license to Disney Plus, $10, $20 to get some other Disney product, $10, $20, $30 to get the stuff that Disney does get money from, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $200 to go stay at a Disneyland hotel, spend a day at the park, buy food and souvenirs at the park. So for every dime Disney loses off of these unofficial things, it's $100 that they make in the long game. Now, let's turn to this. This thing. It all comes down to this. The OGL and using D&D and using the D&D iconography and what Wizards of the Coast is trying to do with 1.1, telling us, no, you can't unless you. But what they should be doing is saying, well, technically you're not supposed to, but we know you're using it and we could come after you, but really it's not cost effective for us to come after you. And frankly, you're giving us free press because I buy this third-party D&D product. Well, D&D could say we get all that money because it's a third-party product using our product. But what they should say is, okay, we know you just bought that, for which we might have made a dime if we went after the company that made it, but we're not going to because we know now you need to spend $30 to buy this online. And there's only one place you can get this now, and that's D&D Beyond. So D&D Wizards of the Coast loses a dime, but makes $100. So that's what Wizards of the Coast should be doing with the Dungeons and Dragons license going forward. Not this autocratic fascist shutdown, this pay us money or else, do it the way we say or else. No, they should just be following the exact same philosophy that everybody else that has a recognizable iconic image has. Mickey Mouse. Disney doesn't go after those idiots who make the stuff. They don't need to. It would cost them so much money, so much time, so much effort to go after them, and they would make a buck. It's more conducive to the IP to let people use the imagery. It is more conducive, it is more profitable in the long run for Wizards of the Coast to say, go ahead, we could stop you, but we know you're going to do it anyway, so we really don't care, because even if you do make a third-party 5e product, you still need to use the core stuff. You still need to come back to daddy eventually. And while we might lose $1, $10, $20, $100, $1,000 in a quarter, we'll make that back with the hundreds of thousands of dollars we're going to make off the officially licensed IP stuff and the stuff you can only get from our store. Because every time you see a third-party D&D product from any company that isn't Wizards of the Coast, that earworm works its way into your brain. Buy Wizards of the Coast. Buy Wizards of the Coast. Buy Wizards of the Coast. And you're like, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this year, but eventually you're like, I need to go and buy the official D&D dice. I need to go buy the official D&D figures. I need to buy this adventure. Everybody else is using D&D Beyond. I need to get on D&D Beyond. So long story, long game, Wizards of the Coast wins and doesn't have the bad press that is inevitably going to follow them with this nonsense. This is not what Gary wanted. Gary wanted everybody to be able to play the game. I'm sure Gary is rolling around in his grave going, shame on you. This is totally not what I wanted. This goes against everything that we wanted D&D to be, Shame on you. Just like Fred Rogers is probably rolling in his grave right now looking at PBS going, shame on you. I'm sure Gary and all the founding fathers of D&D are just ashamed of Wizards of the Coast right now. There is no way this thing, if even partially of it is true, ends up looking good for Wizards of the Coast in the long run. I mean, I could be wrong, but history has shown us the more you tighten your fist, and it's an easy workaround. It's an easy workaround to maintain the good relationships with all the third-party content creators, knowing that if you lose $1 because somebody buys, a Monty Cook Games product instead of a Wizards of the Coast product, you're going to make $10 in the long run off of the officially licensed dice, figures, props, adventures, using the official apps, using the official online stuff. Don't stop the third party. Encourage them. Same way Disney encourages third-party use of Mickey Mouse. We could, but why bother? It's money and time we don't have. The amount of money we'll make back is pointless. And at the end of the day, that third-party shirt with Mickey Mouse on it is free advertising for us. So in the long run, we win. Wizards of the Coast, you don't have to go after these people. You don't have to tell them they need to pay you money. You should encourage them to use your iconography. You should encourage them to use the OGO because, sure, maybe you don't make money off of that shirt or that game or that product today, but eventually people are going to have to come to the park. People are going to have to buy your stuff, and it's in their mind. The third-party company is giving you free advertising, and that's worth way more than the few dimes you're going to make by telling Monty Cook Games or West End Games or Steve Jackson Games or Peso, you have to do this or else. You can't make our stuff or else. Because right now the result is, okay, fine, I won't make stuff for your game. I'll make stuff for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I'll make stuff for Castles and Crusades. I'll make stuff for Call of Cthulhu. I'll give them free advertising. I'll give, Hank over at Runehammer Games free advertising. I'll run that game. And all that money that could have been yours, Wizards of the Coast, is going to start going to somebody else. Don't believe me? Turn the Wayback Machine to 4th edition D&D and look how much money Wizards of the Coast lost there. Wizards of the Coast almost died. Pathfinder was king of the world for 3 years. If it hadn't been for Magic, the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast would be gone. Hasbro would have shut the doors. And the same thing is going to happen. I feel it in my guts. I'm calling it now. Maybe I'm wrong. But the math says, yeah, this is a dumb idea, Wizards of the Coast. It's much easier to just get along with the third partiers and know you were going to win in the long run. But that's my 2 cents. If you don't agree with me, let me know. If you do agree with me, let me know. Have you ever bought a third-party product with Superman or Batman or Mickey Mouse on it, knowing that you were technically taking money out of Disney's pocket? Would you buy third-party product from other publishers like Free League or Peso, even though you know you're taking money out of Wizards of the Coast pocket? Of course you would, and of course you have. Do you think Wizards of the Coast should go after those people? Or Wizards of the Coast should just accept and be grateful for the free advertising, knowing sooner or later they're going to get money from those people anyways? Me, I'm voting for the same thing Disney does. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You tell me. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an economist. I'm just the OGGM. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you don't appreciate this content and think I have no idea what I'm talking about, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 1 billion subs by the end of 2023. But realistically, take a moment out of your time to support the OGGM adventures by picking up some of my amazing merch, including brand new, not OGL products on Big Geek Emporium. Till next time, stay safe. And remember, MICKEY. Why? Because I want you to get off my land. MOUSE.